Well, now more than ever, when it comes to UTV audio, there are two platforms that reign supreme, namely Can-Am and Polaris. Well, MB Quart has been hard at work creating amazing solutions when it comes to upgrading your audio system, and we're going to dive deep into all of this and more. Today, we have their man, Rob Anderson, joining us, and we're going to get right into it. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about MB Quart, and it starts now. All right, thanks for joining us for another CMA Connected brought to you by SiriusXM. We're talking UTV audio with MB Quart. We've got Rob Anderson joining us. But first, a quick message from our sponsor, SiriusXM, reminding you why you always need to upgrade that customer with SiriusXM. And when we come back, man, let's dive in because MB Quart has got you covered in Powersports audio.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to CMA Connected. Rob, welcome to the show. Good seeing you, brother. How's everything?
Oh, man, it's great, Ben. Great to be back here on the CMA network, and excited to be talking about Powersports audio with you guys today.
Well, I know it's been hard scheduling you in because you guys are like at every single event across the country. Let's talk about that real quick. I think what people don't need to realize is MB Quart has really invested themselves into this culture, haven't they?
Absolutely. I mean, it's in our blood, right? We're enthusiasts at heart. We're riding on the weekends just as much as y'all, and we want to make sure that the riding experience is taken to the next level, especially on the audio game, right? But we've been everywhere from, we just had an amazing large training out in Mexico over the weekend, and we were training all the dealers and all the installers there about how they can add amazing audio to all of their applications down there.
Well, two things I wanted to kind of mention before we dive into product per se. You know, MB Quart, and correct me if I'm wrong here, may be the first company to actually have integrated or produced, application specific gear for these platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. So with our OEM partnerships, we really took that upping that OEM quality game back in the day when the market was just kind of kicking off. But you could even roll back further in time. We were one of the first people ever to put a UTV audio system in a UTV itself with a CES, man. It's got to be double-digit years by now, but we were one of the first with the Yamaha Rhino.
Right, the Rhino. Holy, that's
I
OG
know.
right there.
We've come a long way from that, and now we basically have these built cars, from the manufacturers. So it's definitely progressed since then.
The other thing I want to mention here is, and we've had a chance to talk about this, but I think there's been some progress in this department, and that is just how involved MB Quart is with OEM manufacturers. Would you like to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we built, we always talk about this from a brand perspective. You know us from the history of in the audio lanes at doing sound quality and IASCA and all that stuff. But this is a different, more evolved MB Quart. We've taken this space, this category, and we've really planted our flag deeply into the ground. And that translates from that OEM partnerships that we have with, say, brands like Polaris or CF Moto, but it trickles down to you in the aftermarket. And that means more innovation, better quality products, and obviously the sound and performance you can expect out of a brand called MB Quart. So that's anything from our source units to our application-specific amplifiers that work with Ride Command. These things are something we live and breathe as a team here at MB Quart, and it's something that you can't fake, you know? It's something that when you talk to us, you know that, all right, hey, we're gonna go hit the trails out in the Smokies, but then we're gonna be hitting the dunes out in Glamis as well, and maybe going up to Sand Hollow or up to the dunes in Oregon. You could see us there at the events that you and your friends and family are riding at too. So it's something that we heavily believe in, and obviously this is the new progression, the new evolution of MB Quart, and the product speaks for itself.
All right, Rob. Well, let's get into it. I kind of have this show broken out into three parts. We're going to first talk about solutions that are available for those Can-Am platforms like Defender and stuff. Don't worry, of course, we're going to get into the Polaris platforms as well. And we're going to end off with some unique accessories that I think MB Quart really brings to the table. So let's start off with Can-Am. Can-Am themselves have kind of made a resurgence. I think their following has definitely grown in recent years. So let's talk, Rob. Tell us about some of the cool things you got going on for Can-Am.
Absolutely. So Can-Am, the best thing about this space is that there is competition, right? So from maybe the progress and the progression that Polaris kind of laid down was the resurgence, like you said, of Can-Am. And that was specifically made with the Maverick X3. So the X3 is one of our best-selling platforms. We have an amazing solution with that, with our Stage 5 audio system that we can even add in an additional subwoofer into it, a full integrated kit that even improves on the OEM fit and finish of all their audio panels. But then we progressed with that, and we've heard the demand and the growth of the Can-Am Defender. This sub kit right here on the table here comes from that application product offering, where it is probably one of our most refined audio systems, our best sounding audio systems, and that's kind of the beautiful thing as these OEM partners and people like Can-Am, when they release new application, that gives us a blank canvas where we could really flex our engineering might.
All right. So, of course, here on CMA Connected, we want to talk about what's right now, what's new, what's coming. And I know you got some goodies. So let's talk about that Defender. It's kind of like the latest, craze when it comes to the Can-Am platform. How are we now taking Defender audio to the next level?
Well, absolutely. Like I mentioned, it's one of our most refined kits that we've ever built and engineered here. And we've really simplified it so that way that building it out and customizing and adding to it is easy from the dealer end and from the customer standpoint. So the whole system is the foundation is that Stage 4 audio visor. That includes 4 6.5-inch speakers, our GMR LED source unit in an amazing HDPE enclosure, so super high impact resistant, but then there's a built-in 4-channel 320-watt amplifier. So that's obviously going to power those built-in 4 speakers that are in the visor itself, but on the end of it, there's pigtails. We're adding either the rear speaker kit for an additional 2 6.5-inch speakers is as easy as plug and play, or adding an amazing subwoofer kit is, again, same thing, as easy as plug and play. With a subwoofer kit, we have a 400-watt monoblock amplifier built into the enclosure itself, 2 10-inch subwoofers in a sealed enclosure that is powered and easily plugged into that visor system. So a nice compact form factor. This thing, after the subs break in, it sounds amazing.
I got to say, Rob, one of the things I find really cool about the evolution of Powersports audio is how modular everything's, for one. And the other part of it is how plug and play. We say those words and sometimes you cringe when you hear plug and play, but these are truly plug and play systems that work not only fit and finish wise, but can integrate, they connect, and you can step up and grow your system. So I want to comment on that. Anything you want to add to that?
I mean, that's something that we really, really strive for here, right? Is we know that, some audio dealers, the Powersports, it's one of those categories that we're still kind of getting our feet wet into. Well, like that was not supposed to be a terrible pun, but, it's something that we want to make sure that if one of these vehicles roll into the shop, it's easy for you and your team to install. So
All right.
making that solution plug and play is the easiest form factor, right?
And again, that kind of circles back to the experience and the connection you have with these OE manufacturers. You have all that information to be able to design parts that fit and work. All right, let's move on here. Of course, we've got probably some viewers that are interested in Polaris platforms. Very, very popular, of course. So let's dig into it. What do you got for the Polaris people?
I mean, anything under the sun for the Polaris people. One, you can see in the background here, we have amazing aftermarket audio roofs. This one back here specifically for the Razor Trail, but we also have audio roofs for the Ranger as well, 2-seater and 4-seater. That has 6 speakers built into it, a 500-watt amplifier, a 10-inch subwoofer, and that CarPlay Android Auto source unit. So, I mean, from a standpoint of audio systems perspective, you bolt that on with about 6 bolts, about 30 minutes to install, plug and play with the Pulse connection. You're going to be having an amazing audio system super easy, right? But then when it comes to stage kits, taking it to that next level so we could have even more of a full range sound, more of a true kind of, I'll say, like MB QUART full range experience, we have our foundational stage systems, right? For the Polaris Razor Pro XP, Pro R, Turbo R, and then obviously the Polaris Ranger as well. From the XP to the XP 1000s, we have you covered. That includes application-specific amplifiers that are built for integrating into Ride Command. We have plugs that are included in the box that make it easy so that we don't have to do any cutting or splicing. Connect this into the back of that OEM source unit, and then that integrates to our stage kit. But then let's go beyond Ride Command. Let's take it to the next level and give you that Apple CarPlay, that Android Audio experience with our GMR7 V1 source unit. So that gives you advantages like Onyx, Gaia for off-road applications, so we can navigate trails either online or offline. Built-in plug-and-play solutions for having a switching system with our GMR RB4, a relay bank that gives you anything that's controlled via a switch could be controlled on a touch screen on the GMR7 up to 20 amps per circuit. So kind of taking that next level, putting that integration, that innovation that we get from the OEM side, and giving you way more value and a better solution here on the aftermarket, right? This is one of our best products, the GMR7. I haven't met anyone out in the field that doesn't play and interact with this unit and not go, this thing's amazing. How can I put it into my UTV today? So from the Polaris standpoint, we have you covered. From Razor to Ranger, we have dash kits that have integrated plug-and-play harnessing. So all you have to do is plug one end onto our source unit and the other end into the OEM pulse bar, bus bar connection that makes it as easy as it can be, right?
You know, one of the first things I want to talk about, Rob, you talked about Ride Command, and a lot of people have concerns about integrating into Ride Command. And one specific feature I really want to dive into is I've seen online comments where people get, not a clean signal when it comes to their sound system when plugging in amplifiers. I want you to kind of illustrate how MB QUART has come up with a solution with that when it comes to eliminating that noise problem.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's kind of where the advantage goes to us than other manufacturers out there, is because we have this tight relationship on the OEM side, but our Ride Command specific amplifiers like this NA2 400.2 RC for Ride Command, it has a circuit in there that cleans up that signal noise that comes from the OEM source unit. But then also it's built into the amplifier, right? Where other manufacturer solutions require you to purchase another $150 box that does the same thing as this amplifier has integrated into it. So we all know from system design, simplicity is key, right? Less points of failure. And the one thing that we do is that we make it into an efficient and high output package. So the NA2, and specifically anything that we make that integrates with the Ride Command, we have that mindset of keep it simple and have it efficient and high output.
Right. So that's a great solution. So don't worry about the noise if you're thinking about integrating into your Ride Command. Now, that beast of a piece right in front of you, that source unit right there. I want to spend a minute on that because you mentioned a couple cool things. Like the first part is the integration, right? You got the wire that can connect right into the factory harness, and boom, you get your all your main functions. Then you level up by having access to those applications for navigation, right? We know these off-roaders want that offline, online. You also mentioned trim kits, and that's important because MB Quart makes these trim panels that go around this source unit to literally make it look like it was meant to be there. And I wanted to make sure people understood that don't worry, you don't have to schlep some type of hole to make it fit. MB Quart has the right trim piece for your model. Two things. You mentioned the relay bank. Let's dive into that a little bit because it's so important. Everybody wants extra switches and functionality in their UTV, and here it is all in one. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So the big thing is, right, we're enthusiasts. So we're just like y'all. We want to add all the cool stuff to our machines as well. And one thing we found is that, you know, there's some good solutions out there on the market where that just does that by itself. But like, again, another system that we have to either build or another point of failure or something where it just complicates things. So we have an amazing relay bank that has 4 circuits with 4 20 amp max, so 80 amps total, waterproof unit itself. So we're going to be able to install all of our accessories that are controlled either by a relay or a switch, and we could connect that to that unit itself, just a simple power and ground, and then that goes up to, with our source unit via JST connector, plugs right in, and then you have those 4 auxiliary switches on the screen itself. So that way we could turn things off like whips, light bar, rock lights, and everything is kind of right there in the brain. The foundation is this GMR setup.
And you don't have to find more real estate on your dash, buy extra Carlisle switches, none of that.
Exactly.
It's all there.
Exactly.
It's all right on the screen.
Exactly, right? Because it's kind of a, you know, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it
right?
simple
You know?
and stupid. Exactly. Now, while you said it, lighting, right? You said whips, you said rock lights. That radio right there also does RGB control, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So controlling that and making it, again, not another unit, not another system. So we have RGB control, so we could select colors, go through sweeping, but then, all right, well, say you're crazy with the lighting, say you love it, we also have an RGB amplifier, right? So one thing we don't talk about, and a lot of people don't know, is that as you add feet and length of physical LED lighting, is you have to actually power that when you start selecting it and having it on these controllers.
Right. The original kit is limited to distance, or exactly what you mean. It depends how much lighting you're doing, right?
Exactly. So we actually have, again, another plug-and-play product that if we're going to go 100 feet length of RGB lighting, we got you covered, you know?
Perfect. All right. So let's round this up. We took some time. We talked about Can-Am products. We talked about stuff for Polaris. And then, of course, we kind of wrapped it up here with extended accessories, if you will, and integration. I'll leave you with this. What message do you have for, you know, UTV audio enthusiasts or shops that might be tuning in to look at MB Quart a little bit closer when it comes to this category?
Well, sure. I mean, most of y'all are probably familiar with us, but the one thing that we obviously want to stress and want people to know is that we're enthusiasts like you. One, we're paying attention to what the new and next platforms are going to be. We won't maybe be the first to jump into a platform, but we're going to make sure that we're the best people to jump into that platform. So when you get a kit from us, you know that it's going to fit perfectly. It might even improve on that OEM quality fit and finish. It's going to be a plug-and-play solution, easy to install, but most importantly, it's going to sound amazing and bring joy to your riding experience. So the big thing for us is that we're here to stay, and we love the Powersports category. We love our machines, and to learn more and to stay up to date on anything that's coming out, maybe put your ear to the ground. We definitely have some future stuff coming out, so keep an eye out for that. Follow us on social media, but head over to mbquart.com to learn more.
That was MB Quart's Rob Anderson joining us to talk about all the amazing products that MB Quart currently has available in the UTV audio market, whether it's Can-Am, Polaris, and beyond. make sure you definitely check them out at mbquart.com. My takeaway is this. I remember when MB Quart decided to make that pivotal shift into this market, and I said to myself, well, if they're going to do it, they better do it right if they want some longevity. Guess what? Years later, here they are leading the way with OEM manufacturer relationships, innovative products, unique offerings such as the source unit and everything else that we talked about, as well as the integration tools that you need as an installer or a consumer to get connected into your vehicle. At the end of the day, MB Quart has certainly proven themselves to be a major player in the power sports audio category. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.